Some of the most complex and haunting music ever written for Broadway is coming to Wilson this weekend, and it won't be your typical night at the theater. Hi, I'm Matthew McKellar, and this is Q to Q, a podcast all about local North Carolina theater. And in today's episode, we are interviewing the president of S2P2 and the director of Sweeney Todd, David Winstead. We talk about many things, the show itself, the program of S2P2, and his experiences in the theater. I hope you enjoy. All right, so do you want to introduce yourself and your role in this production?
Absolutely. I'm David Winstead. I'm the president of S2P2 in Wilson, North Carolina, and I'm the director and producer and so too many other things for Sweeney Todd, going up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Nice. So S2P2 is the company that is putting on Sweeney Todd. Do you want to talk about how you started S2P2, how that came about?
Absolutely. So this is coming up to the end of our fourth season. S2P2 started as a way to bridge the gap in the area between programs like Act for Youth and others in the region and the more adult play and community theater groups like Playhouse of Wilson, Vision Community Theater, because
Hmm.
there was this kind of lost generation between the ages of 18 and maybe 30. So wanted to do that, and then a way to also just do things that maybe others wouldn't do, shows others wouldn't do.
Yeah. What type of shows do you like to do?
I mean, I like to do things that either there's a want for from the community performers or audience, or just things that are things I've always wanted to do. Got to knock one of those off this year with 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Hmm. Yeah. And so now you've moved to doing more 6 to 8 shows per year. Is that correct?
Yep, we did 8 this year, and we're going back down to 7 for next year. I think that's going to be where we live.
7. Okay, nice. Um, Yeah, and you do a full range of plays, and then you have a couple musicals that you do at the senior studio, and then
Hmm.
the Sweeney Todd is your main stage for the year.
Yes,
Um,
that's our main stage production, and kind of caps off our year.
nice. So talk about how you got into theater, and you went to school for theater, correct?
Yes, so my theater journey actually begins in the space I'm in right now at the Edna Boykin Cultural Center. I was 10 years old, and there was a co-production between Wilson Arts and Playhouse of Wilson doing The Music Man. And my mother, Elizabeth Winstead, was brought in to play Marion the Librarian. And I was 9 or 10 years old and was like, well, I can't leave him at home. He sings pretty good. Can I put him in the show? And
Mhm.
that kicked off, a long time of doing theater. And I always thought of it just as a hobby. And then in high school, got the opportunity to audition for governor's school. Nudge,
Yes.
nudge. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
And from there, I realized that, okay, maybe I'm actually good enough at this to continue to pursue it. Went on to do college auditions and attended NYU, Tisch School of the Arts,
Mhm.
Playwrights Horizons Theater School, graduated in 2012 with the BFA in theater. Then
Gotcha.
came back to Wilson and started directing and writing and everything else.
Yes. What are some of your favorite past productions that you've worked on?
Oof, that's a tough one. I think in terms of performance, getting to play Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar is got to be up there.
Mhm.
Also, getting to do Rocky Horror Show twice with Barton College was a ton of fun. Getting to ride a Harley into the space every night. Um,
Mhm.
as a director, The Lightning Thief is still up there. That it's just such a fun show. Um,
Yes.
and this one's going to be up there. This company, this
Mhm.
team, the work that's happened with. I mean, it's Sondheim. It's difficult, but
Yes.
the heart of everybody that has come in to put this production together, it's special.
Yeah, Sondheim is so special, and it's also very memorable whenever you do a Sondheim show.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you, yeah, do you want to talk about the different challenges with doing a Sondheim show and
Oh
why doing a Sondheim show makes that even more special?
well, this is the first time I've gotten to direct Sondheim, so that's always something. And to do it with Sweeney, which is just a whole other level of crazy. The easy part for me was I didn't go to rehearsal for the first 3 weeks. That was just
Oh
music
wow.
rehearsals. I
Mhm. Yeah.
I sat at home with my dog for 3 weeks before
Mhm.
joining rehearsals. But then, everyone knew the music already, and then we dove into rehearsals. The biggest thing with Sondheim, I feel, is having a concept that works with the material, that is drawn from the material in order to push the ideas further and to continue to tell a story that's not just the one everyone's already seen.
Yes. Yeah, Sondheim always has deeper meanings. And for those who don't know, you always get a script and a vocal score for each show. And for most shows, it's about like this thick, but for a Sondheim show, it's boom. It's
Oh,
it's thick because it's so much music. And he has his main just style is very complicated rhythms and just
and
timing with it.
and this one, it might be the craziest. I
Yes,
mean, it's just
it
nonsensical
really
stuff out of nowhere.
yeah, I think, at the very end of the show, I think there's Sweeney and there's, Love It, and they're both singing 2 different,
Oh
timing
yes.
or rhythms, and then the
Oh yeah.
music's doing a completely different thing. It's
Oh well, and at the
absolutely
end, it's blending once again the final time all those melodies from all those different songs. But with Sweeney, it's all drawn from the same musical idea. Everything is off
mm,
the DSE day.
yes. Um, well, what type of shows do you prefer to do? Do you like older stuff, more contemporary, a mix, or
I like to do anything. I like to do things that have good stories, have something that brings something to the table that's fun, that actors can dig their teeth into, and just that I find something that resonates with me is the most important
Mhm.
thing.
What has shaped your style as a director?
Collaboration is the biggest thing. It's that, to have the creativity to have an idea, but not be so
Mhm.
married to it that you have to be rigid, and be able to let an actor have their ability and their creativity to combine with yours, with your designers, with your stage manager, assistant director. But because I've always found, 75 brains are better than one.
Yes. Yeah, I will say, it's always working with you. You've directed so many shows that I've been in. You
I've
do
lost
give,
count.
yeah, you do give lots of freedom for the actors. I think, um, one of my, one of the best examples for that was in A Chorus Line, and um, you gave me and Lydia, who had a duet together, like a little bit of freedom on what our gestures were because it was a more comedic piece.
Exactly.
And we had a lot of fun with that. But um, you also give great notes with acting, like the emotions of the moment and like why we're doing because you do at the very. Did you do a table read or
Oh, we did
table
we
work
did like a
rehearsal?
we did like a 4 hour table work rehearsal. It
Yes.
was uh, it was
Um,
just me and the principal cast sitting upstairs at the studio, and just it was just this big collaborative conversation for 4 hours, just hashing everything out.
Yeah. And that's very useful because it allows the actor and the performer to just truly understand their character, why their character does something, and the internal thoughts of their character, and that informs their movements and their physicality on stage. And I always find that it's always so much more helpful to act something out if I really know the backstory behind it. Um, and doing a table read or table work just really helps with that.
Yeah, start from the mental, then give the framework to the physical, and then you just meld them all together.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Um, for those who don't know, I know we've already talked about it. But do you want to give an overview of Sweeney Todd? Because it sounds like a crazy show if you're just hearing it for the first time. But
Well, the number one thing that I have to remind people of, Sweeney Todd is a dark comedy. It's
yes.
funny. It is a comedy. First and foremost, we have all laughed so much because there's so many great moments, and a lot of the actors have found even more. But it's basically a story of revenge, murder, eating people.
Hmm.
That's about it. And just,
Yes.
being driven to madness and blindness and rage.
A huge thank you to David Winstead for coming on the podcast. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties in post-production, the podcast was cut a little short. But I will be sure to have David back on the podcast at a later time to talk about one of the next upcoming shows that S2P2 has. As you heard, Sweeney Todd blends dark humor, uncomfortable twists, and moments that are shocking and funny in ways that you just have to experience live. As David said, it's definitely a little out there, but in the best way, with rich, complex music by one of Broadway's most legendary composers. Be sure not to miss Sweeney Todd this weekend, Friday, May 1st, and Saturday, May 2nd at 7 p.m., and Sunday, May 3rd at 3 p.m. David and I talked a little more beyond what you heard on the podcast. And I would say one of the things that stuck out to me from our private conversation was I asked him what advice would he give to people auditioning and going out for different roles. And he said, in the audition room, try to make yourself as undeniable as possible. Don't give the director, the music director, the choreographer, or just casting director in general, don't give them a choice. Make them pick you. That was his number one piece of advice for theater. Thanks for listening to Q2Q. If you enjoyed this podcast and support community theater, please subscribe to Q2Q, the podcast, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram. Thank you.